Recording in three, two.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara,
Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
and we are back today with another recap of Bel-Air. This week, we will be talking about season 4, episode 5. I'm sorry, 4 and 5, titled Brothers Keeper and Gorilla Glue and Duct Tape. But before we get started with the conversation, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and go ahead and click that notification bell so you get alerted every time we post. Also, while you're at it, just go ahead and grab your friends and family. Tell them to subscribe to the Spot Real Talk as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the conversation. This first episode 4, we are seeing some of what Carlton and Will have going on. It seems like time is flying in these episodes.
Yeah.
Because well, the college situation is here. It's sped up, and we see Will is back to balling. Carlton is trying to get his acceptance letter for Princeton together. I'm sorry, he's already submitted it, but he's helping Will with his college application now, to try to get recruited. Now, the thing is, this whole mess with Carlton, we knew that this was going to eventually be a thing again. Carlton actually, like we said last week, used Amira's letter,
Story.
and it came back to bite him. So I figured when that teacher rolled up on him and was like, "We need to talk," I was like, "Okay, here it is." And I was really shocked at Carlton. I don't know about y'all, but I was so disappointed that he sat there and just let Amira take the fall, as the teacher kind of blamed her for copying and lying.
And I was disappointed in him and I was disappointed in the teacher. I was like, dang. I said, she automatically assumed that Amira was lying. And Amira, I thought, was a good one for holding her tongue and not airing Carlton out, because I would have aired Carlton
I
out.
would have let him have it.
Actually, I was mad at America for not, putting them on Front Street because, I
That's what I
mean,
just said.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, he was burying you with his own shovel, and I'm like, okay, no, no, we can't have it that way. I'm not sure if she was more shocked and she didn't say anything, or whether, yeah, because I know she wasn't thinking about his future at that particular point in time.
Because she did
Well, she
want him
said
to
she
go to
was
Princeton.
right. She
Yeah.
said that, but I mean, at that moment, the spontaneity of that moment, most people would have like looked at him or give some sort of surprise. I mean, she sat there flat as I mean, she flatlined.
She
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I think she. You're right. I think she was shocked, but it would have been an okay corral up in there, because
That's what
the
I'm
way
saying.
the way I would have aired him out. Whew.
Yeah, I was like, wow, Carlton, I know that you really want this Princeton thing, but my God, like, the girl has been through so much, and now you're going to jeopardize her future as well. That could have seriously gotten her in trouble.
Definitely.
Yes, yes.
So that was foul. I was really upset with
I,
Carlton.
for sure, he definitely deserves a hands for that. Because I was just like, even as even as a man, I thought,
That's the thing.
I was like, that's not cool that you
Right.
sit up there and you allow this woman to take the fall and
Right.
everything too. So I was like, oh, then you a sucker.
That's what hit me. I mean, I'm like, the manhood in me would, I mean, okay, you lied. But once
Uh-huh.
you got caught, it's now time to
Exactly.
fess up. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna let you take a fall for something that you didn't do. That's
Exactly.
I can't do that. I'm
It
just
would have been difficult for me to sit there and allow this woman to
right.
chastise a mirror the way
Mm-mm.
she did
Yeah.
in front of my face.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not cut like that. So
I was like,
I have to say no, no,
and
no,
then
no.
and then he was like shook, running around, saying like, "Well, what is Amira gonna do? Is she gonna say something and stuff?" Like, he was worried about what she gonna fess up.
Uh-huh. He was
I was
trying to stay
like,
ahead of it. I was upset. And then at the end, kind of the first episode, where he and Amira are kind of back, because she actually took it very easy on him. She was upset, but she later showed some empathy for him, where um, we seen at the party she made him make it up to her. We'll talk about that in a second. But she actually kind of like just empathized with him, and he later wrote like another essay, and he was like,
Hmm.
you can have it if you want, and they ended up kissing and whatnot, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
I mean, she
she
must
let him
really,
off too easy.
no, she must really like Carlton because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
he would have grown an inch by the time I was done with him.
Yeah, and I think she did not want to see him lose. Princeton was all he was fixated on. He didn't even have a second choice. So I think she probably was just like, if I do say something, he's going to lose out on Princeton. Like part of me, I was glad he got into Princeton, but I was really disappointed with the lie and her
Yeah.
letting her take the fall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was very selfless in that. I was like, girl, she
Yeah.
Yes.
thicker than I am, because I would have went crazy on him.
Oh,
But
I would have too. I would have
yeah,
too.
Mhm.
yeah, and it's a good thing that Will and Carlton have this reformation kind of community service type program where they have to be in. Now Mr. Carter, his name is, played by Snoop Dogg. He is no nonsense, and I was
He
like,
ain't
if
no
they
joke.
thought they was gonna roll up in that class and just skate on by, they got another
Mm-mm.
thing coming.
Mm-mm.
Wasn't gonna happen. I like Snoop though. He handled that. He handled that class. And he what do you call those two? Um,
What,
Bash and
bash and
bash.
bash and
bash?
bash.
Bash
Yeah.
and bash.
Which fitting because
they,
vandalism.
Mhm.
they tore up the car, yeah.
Hey,
And
hey, he called it.
I like the fact that he made them all accountability partners and just
Right.
saying like you're responsible for your partner's actions and stuff, and you're your brother's keeper. So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, referencing the episode title.
Mhm.
But
Right. My brother's keeper.
I was gonna say, I think that it kind of can go either way with these accountability partners, as we can see in the episode, where it can work out really well, or one person can really drag the other one down. So I was worried about how this was going to turn out, with Will trying his hardest to kind of impress the guy Gavin up at USC. He's trying to get in good with Gavin so that he can get an introduction with the coach. And they end up at this USC party. I don't know how they had time to do a party in between community service, but
Well, they didn't actually. I mean,
Yeah.
and Carlton was trying to explain to
Tell
him,
him like, yeah, we don't have
yeah,
time.
we
We
ain't
ain't
got
gonna get
time for
back
all
on
this.
time.
And so, oh, Will, he just has to have it his way.
mm,
And then he's going to get into a basketball game,
a little
Contest.
competition.
I mean
Yeah.
competition with dude. Now, when he threw that little
Gummy bear.
gummy bear into a bottle, I would not have even tried to go be after that. I would have been like,
No.
okay, you won. Okay.
Right.
There's no sense in me even trying to do that. You got this.
But it's very clear, especially in this episode, that Will is still like super impression. Like, he kind of succumbs to pressure, peer
Yeah.
pressure,
Hmm.
because we seen it when he was kind of clowning Carlton. He was trying to, make himself feel better about being the cool guy or whatever in front of Gavin. That everything that Carlton was doing, he was kind of like visibly irritated that he was kind of like being corny or whatever.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, I didn't like that. I didn't like that when they were clowning Carlton, that he was kind of siding with them and
Mm-hmm.
clowning Carlton too. Because at the end of the day, Carlton is family.
Right.
And you don't leave family out there and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, Will, I know you're trying to get in good with these folks and you want somebody to, look out for you on the USC hookup and stuff. I said, but don't leave family out there. So I was happy to see him step up later with the dance with
Yeah.
Carlton.
Well,
I was gonna say that
they
was a
both have character flaws. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Serious character flaws. I mean, um, yeah, stepping up with the dance, that was good, but he shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. Had you not gone to the to the party. Now I understand, Will, but Will, you should have, you got the gift for gab. If you didn't make it to the party, you might have been able to find another way to get the guy's attention, but no, you had to do it your way.
Well, the dude invited him. Like when they were talking in the DMs and stuff, the dude told him to pull up.
Yeah, I
So
know, and
he
I'm
was like,
saying
"Okay, this is my shot."
right, but I'm saying is Will has a gift for gab. If he didn't make it, he may have been able to, hit him up or something to say, hey, I couldn't make it at this point. But you first of all, you missed the meeting. You threw your boy under the bus. Um, you had him humiliated. You humiliated him, and you had him humiliated by everybody in the room. And the only thing that saved Carlton was Wilton joining in.
Well, the thing, I think that's what Will kind of seem like. I've been clowning him. This is obviously very embarrassing for him right now. Everybody in the room, it's like all eyes on Carlton, embarrassing himself. So I think that Will jumping in that moment was like, okay, I've been tripping a little bit on my cousin.
Right,
Let me be
right,
there by his side. And
right.
they
So
actually turned it into like a cool moment where like,
Right,
okay, everybody's rooting for them
it was
now.
it was
right,
like the kid and play moment
Well, it was
exactly,
actually a
when
exactly,
callback
they
to the original
I
Fresh
was
Prince
great
of
to say
Bel-Air
that.
because they
right,
actually did that dance in
Yes,
right.
yes. I
yeah.
was I was gonna say that. It was a callback
Mhm.
to the original the Fresh Prince.
Yeah, so
Um
I do like them incorporating some stuff from OG Fresh Prince. And I was just like, that was really cool of Will to realize that I don't have to fake it in front of all of these people. Like either they're gonna accept me or they not. And it actually paid off for him in the end because when Gavin called him, he was like, I like the way you held your cousin down.
Right.
And he was like, we are a team, and that's what our team does. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this intro with the coach.
Boom.
Go ahead, Philly. Go ahead and say something,
That
Philly.
exactly. I mean, I felt them. I was like, right, Gavin, because I'm like, we support our family. That's
Uh-huh.
how we
Mm-hmm.
roll in Philly, and that's why I was like, when Will did that, I was glad because I was like, you're saying you're my brother's keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Part of being your brother's keeper is holding him down. So
Uh-huh.
not
Exactly.
not stand on the sideline, letting them treat him like a sucker. Like I was like, okay, Will, you're not showing up for your cuz right now. So I was like, okay, he made up for it with the dance.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
he did actually give him a formal apology, which I was like,
Yes.
yes, that
Yes,
was
he
what
did.
needed too.
Mhm.
And they ended up coming back to community service, but they had just missed it. He was like, you got to be in your seat, not at the door. So I was like, what's his name? Mr. Carter really
Mr.
ain't
Carter.
playing with them.
No,
He
he
no
not. He like
But
nonsense.
in the seat. I'm like, dang, they at the door. He ain't even let him in. I'm
now,
like, dang.
now theoretically that should have been one strike, but he gave them two,
Two,
one
one
each.
each. Yeah.
Right. So now
Well,
you
they
need,
accountability partners, so
yeah, I
two
guess.
for one deal.
Right.
So I was like, dang, they really can't mess up no more.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
And the voiceover that Snoop was doing at the end, kind of talking about how important it is to be there for your people. I thought that was super fitting, and hopefully, like that little scolding that they got from Mr. Carter will whip them into shape, and they won't get a third strike because he's not messing around.
No. Mm-mm. No.
Um, And so I wanted to talk a little bit too about, Viv and her pregnancy journey because we seeing she is showing this episode. That's why I was like, wow, time is really flying. Last episode, she had nothing. This episode, we see the little bump. So we're progressing pretty far in time from the last episode. And Viv is, having the pregnancy classes and whatnot. And it actually is she runs into Erica. We know that she and Erica have a very rough history.
Mm.
And she had basically written Erica off like this, we don't need her in our lives or whatever because of how close she was getting to Phil, which I
She,
wasn't.
Mm.
she kissed Phil. Like,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
she overstepped the
that's it.
line.
Oh
uh-huh.
yeah.
And so seeing her in your pregnancy class also pregnant is like, oh, and she kind of gave her the hey girl and kept it moving. But having her later making peace between Lisa and Jackie and that kind of speech that she gave those two, like you have a lot in common and you should try to look past your differences and focus on what you can do to help each other and how you can find common ground. I think that kind of motivated her to also make peace with Erica.
Plus, if I can say to what did you say, Ryan?
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the fact that she's having another child later in life, she and Erica are probably closer in age because when she was there and she's with these new age parents
Right.
that, they're like, yeah, you got to do this and this and this. And you don't let them want to
Mhm.
stop. Like a lot of those things that, me and Ron got older kids, grown kids. So
Right.
when our kids were, I know my son was younger, a lot of stuff that applied when he was younger does not apply now and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So I understood where she's coming from. Like she's looking around like I can't relate to because the other parents was looking like when she was like, oh, all we had to do was to swaddle them. And they're looking like, no, you don't do that. So I
Mm,
think as much as she couldn't stand Erica and everything and had bad blood with her at first, the fact that she and Erica are kind of close in age and everything, and she had somebody to go through this process
mm,
with and not be, side-eyed by
yeah.
the younger generation.
And it was very clear with her friends at the spa day that her own friends who are not pregnant right now, they are out living their lives. They
Yeah, they
are
are.
going out drinking and smoking and eating oysters and some more stuff.
They
Such
empty
Living the life.
nesters. They
But
empty nesters.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I was really surprised though of it because, when somebody steps to your man like that, I would not, initially, I didn't think she could forgive that. But
Mhm.
that just shows, her character, how big she is in terms of forgiving that situation and
Mhm.
understanding the reality of where she is. So, kudos to that for her.
Yeah, she was
Uh,
definitely the bigger person in the situation,
yeah,
I think, and putting that behind her because I mean, you messing with my man, that's nothing small.
right.
So that took a lot. And
Yeah.
likewise with Lisa and Jackie, they had a similar thing where Lisa felt like Jackie was doing too much with Will. And
Well,
Right.
and they both have history with Will,
They
exactly.
both,
so
that's right.
And
mm,
so that's the thing. Like it's the very similar situation, although differences in ages and in circumstances between them. But Lisa and Jackie were able to focus on the fact that they both are kind of growing up without a mother figure, and then also the fact that they both just got these college acceptances. That one's going to Howard, and the other one's going to Juilliard. So they are doing well in life,
yep.
but they bonded over the fact that too that they are missing out on a mother figure, and they didn't know that about one another.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that that was a cute moment, and then of course them crashing the party.
Which
But
was, hey, I didn't mind that. They put a little spice in it, if you ask me. I mean,
mm,
I
yeah.
didn't, I mean, I couldn't see the whole room, but when they came in, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Will look shook, like what y'all? When this happened?
Uh-huh.
When y'all start hanging?
Uh-huh.
Now,
I guess that's that girl power.
yeah, I mean they showed up looking cute, ready to pull some college boys. I'm like,
Mm,
okay, this where it start getting tricky. That transition from high school to college,
you know?
Yeah,
and then relationships get tested. I'll say
Mhm.
right.
that.
I
Um,
What is,
I was going to say I appreciate that Lisa gave Jackie that guidance to to let her mom know what's going on. Like even though they're not in a good space, to let her know that news that she got in a Juilliard and everything and stuff.
mm,
So I thought that was cool of Lisa to give her that advice.
right.
yeah, it was, and I mean, I thought that their friendship can definitely go further from here, and I'd like too that they still included a mirror. Like, okay, we just made peace, but let's bring our homegirl Mira in on it too because we know she's been through a lot, and so the three of them together, like, I think that they can really go far in helping each other cope with their circumstances. That they're each of them got some stuff going on.
Yeah, three baddies too.
Yeah, and we seen at the end that Jackie did end up calling her mom. We don't really know how that call went after the fact, but we know how hard it was for her to do that, and it seemed like they have a very strained relationship.
Mhm.
And it's up to her mother to accept that. I mean, as far as Jack is concerned, you did the right thing. You called your mom, you let her know. And so you have nothing to feel any kind of way about. You did what you were supposed to do. If your mother responds, positively, then she should call you back and wish you well. If she never hears from her mother again, at least she tried.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was definitely risky making that call, after you get the good news about Juilliard or whatnot. And how Lisa is saying how she wished she could tell her mom that she got accepted. And I do
Mhm.
understand her sentiment there, like not having the opportunity ever to make that phone call because her
Right.
mother has passed.
Right.
But I do think that she didn't necessarily push Jackie to do it, but she did kind of, give her a little nudge.
Mhm.
And I was thinking like, that could really go the
Yeah,
wrong way too.
right,
I know
right,
she meant well, but when you don't know what the circumstances are with Jackie and her mom that has caused them to not speak.
exactly.
So I hope we get to see more about what's going on there between her and her mother.
Hmm.
Um, Now I want to talk about Phil and Jeffrey because they have a whole plan set up this episode on how they are going to launder the money. And so they're basically going to infuse money into these local businesses, not too far outside the circumference of their work zone, the construction site, because they don't want to, tip off no red flags. But they basically want to put this money into businesses that really need it and leave the owners out of the loop so that they have plausible deniability. And so they
Well,
go to the laundromat, the car wash, all these parking lots or
parking
whatnot.
lot.
But the
But the,
mini mart owner, now he threw them for a loop.
well, and he was smart doing it because he didn't want co-ownership. But the thing, what really concerned me about Phil, because I thought Phil was a little smarter than this. When you give large infusions of cash to small businesses that are struggling, the Internal Revenue is going to look at that because you just don't come up with large infusions of cash. That should be over a certain time, and as well, we don't know it yet, but when you're putting in that kind of money and you go from nearly destitute to you know, living life on, buying the hog and doing whatever you can do with that money, building your business in such a short period of time, because we're talking about maybe weeks. One day you have nothing, and another day you got what, $50,000 or what, however much they were giving each business.
Mm-hmm.
That's a red flag. I mean, it doesn't matter the how close in relationships they are to you. I understand the methodology, what they were thinking, but when you start to infuse that kind of cash that quickly to a business that's struggling, Internal Revenue they're gonna flag that.
Well, I guess his thought process was going to these cash heavy businesses where,
Cash
they could,
dependent, cash
yeah,
dependent.
basically,
But that's my point. That's the problem. When you go, you would have been better off going to a business that was more stable, washing money in that regard, than going to a business that's like
struggling. And then it's
struggling.
like, where all this money come from all of a
Right.
sudden?
I mean, that's just finance 101. You just don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It definitely is sketchy. And the decision for him to go to Jazz's business. Now, I was like, I know you desperate, Phil, and I know your family is on the line, but are you really going to drag Jazz into this after all he's been through to try to keep that store
Exactly,
open and keep
exactly,
his family legacy going?
exactly.
And I was like, oh no, he didn't. I was really upset with Phil.
I
And then,
was too.
And Jeffrey even asked him, like, are you sure about this? And he was like, yeah.
well, I guess he felt that Jazz owed him a favor, because he got him out of trouble last season. I'm not, that doesn't make it right. So don't even think that I'm on Phil's side because
No, no, no. I'm not
yeah.
saying that. I don't think that he felt that he owed him. I think he felt like because there was a whole conversation with Jazz and what's the young lady's name? What is her name
Pam.
on Pam on
Yeah.
Bel-Air? Because we know
Yeah.
she's Bianca on the Shy, and we know
Yeah.
she's Tony Childs and Girlfriends. So I was like, what's her name on the show?
Miss
Pam.
Missy.
Jim Pam. Okay,
Yeah.
so Pam told him that he needed a large infusion of cash. He
Quarter
Mm-hmm.
said,
mil.
I don't have it.
Right.
And Pam is also friends with
Phil.
with Viv.
Viv.
Viv
Viv,
is her
right,
girlfriend.
right,
So,
right.
she could have said that to Viv. Viv could have let slip that, he needs an infusion of cash. And he probably thought he was doing him a favor. But he's
I don't think
putting
he knew that. No, because he did say Pam called him and told him about his situation. When I think a light
so
bulb went
he was
on.
trying to do him a solid. He thought he was
Well,
doing him a solid.
but he knows. But Phil is smart enough to know that every business you encounter with this laundering is putting them at risk. Phil knows that.
Mm.
So, because he's smart enough to know that. And to
But
put,
he's betting too much on Jeffrey because he was like, if you're involved, things won't go left, right?
well, well, the whole point is it went left day one when y'all came up with this plan. I mean,
Yeah.
the question is how far left will it go? Because
Hmm.
it's only a matter of time. You just can't you can't
And we saw that in one of the
It's
episodes. We
already
saw the
gone.
feds came to the door. So the time is now.
time is now. And
Yes.
then they go, and where did they go to? Jazz.
Yep.
And
Immediately
Because
went
they
to
said that,
Jazz.
and Pam kind of raised that, alert to Viv. She was like, well, I just want to let you know that, they have raised a red flag, and because she works for the job at her job,
The
basically,
DCC.
yeah, where
yeah,
they are investigating these businesses and whatnot, and Charlie's was flagged for inflated sales.
yeah.
And
Right.
so that's why the feds are knocking and talking to Jazz about his business ties. And I'm like, that's so foul of them, of Phil and Jeffrey,
It
to
is.
knowingly do that. And then like the likelihood of you being flagged is so high, like you said, Ron, because of what you're doing with these small businesses that can't justify these booming sales. So it's like they should have known better, and to involve Jazz was
It's
reckless,
wrong.
and it's just, yeah, downright wrong.
I
I
guess
was
the
so
Will.
question,
upset with them.
but I guess the question for me is, particularly with Phil, did he really have a chance? And let me ask that question in this manner. Um, um, you were already implicated in a sense with Jeffrey. Jeffrey already put you in the game by telling, what's her name? I don't know. Do you remember her name? Phil's wife that plays.
Viv.
Viv.
No, no,
Phil's
no,
wife is
no.
Viv.
Phil's real wife that plays the villain.
Oh,
Oh,
Dominique.
Dom.
Dom. You know, because Jeffrey already told Dom, which is his sister, um, that I can get Phil to do X, Y, Z, and we can use Phil's business. So he must have already said something to that effect. And then she brings Phil in, and she basically threatens his family by breaking into the home, letting him know that he can be touched. So now, what do you do to protect your family? And I think he did, well, in fact, I'm absolutely sure because I believe he said it in a roundabout way. He did it to protect his family, not Jeffrey. If,
Hmm.
if it were just on Jeffrey's back, Jeffrey would have taken a walk.
I'm sure. I mean, I think that's why I was
Right. But I
upset
think
last
that's
week,
his
because
family
I
too.
felt like for Phil and Jeffrey to have been friends for so long, I felt like Phil definitely be leaving Jeffrey out there to hang sometimes, and Jeffrey goes above and beyond for that family. So I was just like a little upset at, that the energy wasn't reciprocated for Jeffrey in certain instances. But like I think now, there's definitely a test of loyalties here, because when Dom comes back into the picture, she's now bringing up, she's trying to drive a wedge between Phil and Jeffrey. And it's very apparent. And Jeffrey even picks up on it and calls her out on it. But she wants Jeffrey back. Like you said, it's her brother. And she wants him to partner back up with her, and to, she said she would leave the Bankses alone. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't
Well,
trust her.
she might have if he agreed. Well, we
And it
know
seems
how it
like he
ends. We know how it
did.
ends, but
Yeah.
I think that well, she said she wanted to go legit. Now, right there, I'm like, okay, there's a question in my mind whether you actually want to go legit or are you trying to, you know. is this some sort of fishing rod and you're trying to fish me in
Mm.
some sense? I don't know, but I don't know. I think I mentioned last week that if Jeffrey were a true friend, he would have either disappeared or, and I mean disappeared in a way that you can't be touched.
But I think he feels like an obligation to come back and protect them because,
Mhm.
especially after what happened to Will.
But he can't.
Right.
He can't. Jeffrey, if say they bum rush the house, Jeffrey's only one man. And Phil probably doesn't have the, you know,
Don't underestimate
I
Phil
I
said
now.
was
pro
like,
well, I'm
I'm
saying
like, wait a minute. I
no,
seen Phil over
I'm
there
not
boxing. I
no
don't
no
feel
no
like
no
no
no. They're
Phil.
not gonna come in with fists. They're coming in with guns.
Right.
And they're coming more, it'll be more than just one or two of them. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And even if there
Right.
were one or two and you do them, they're going to keep coming at you until they get you. And
Hmm.
those so you're in that predicament. So the question I guess is what else could Phil have done? And the problem is that might not help him in court.
Well, I think that's why he got desperate and maybe he made some missteps in his plan with this money laundering because he was basically like, let's get it done ASAP. Like, we're going to get in and get out. And I think that in doing that and doing it quickly and only having, what, four businesses in the
Hmm.
loop, he
Yeah.
probably should have spread that money over a much larger set of businesses so it didn't look so fishy. But he was desperate, and a lot of the business owners, if they fell outside of a certain distance from his construction project, that would have also tipped a red flag.
Right.
So it was like he had his back up against the wall and he just did what he could with what he had.
Hmm.
So I think that's why now, the red flags are going off. And I thought it was interesting too how this whole ordeal has altered Viv's relationship with Jeffrey, because she was talking to Phil and she expressed some concern that she might be left alone now that she has the baby and she won't he won't be her safety net.
Hmm.
Because I think some of her friends Erica had actually mentioned like, oh, at least you have Phil there, he can be a safety net for you, whatever. When she was kind of like calling into question Viv going on maternity leave and her job
Hmm.
possibly being threatened,
Hmm.
which I want to have a conversation about that too. But I just thought that Phil, Viv expressed those feelings towards to Phil, and then later on when she talked to Jeffrey, she was very cold to him, and she was basically like not trying to hear it, and saying the kids are her priority,
Hmm.
and she doesn't want anything that they have to get seized in this process. She's trying to hold on to
Exactly.
what they have.
Exactly.
And I was like, that they have jeopardized a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
I understand how she's feeling. Like her family is in jeopardy. That situation is muddying up Phil's business and reputation. So I definitely understand, you know, how
Yeah,
she's feeling.
right, because that's a livelihood. I mean, if they were to fall, that's a
The
heck of a
livelihood,
fall.
the reputation, all
Yeah,
of that.
everything that
Everything
Yeah.
that
goes
they've
down.
worked for.
Right. And I think so, and Viv had every right to feel a little cool with
Yeah.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
because she put him there. And then the question becomes, should they have just gone to the police?
Hmm.
But then Jeffrey wouldn't have been able to do that. But I mean,
No, he wouldn't have.
yeah,
Well,
but
that's why I was saying, could they talk to Lisa's dad because he is police, like without going and getting some
but
counsel
that
without going to the
To
full
the
on
like,
police
yeah.
but if he
because
go,
he's a friend too.
but even if he went there, I mean, what the conclusion would be, the police or FBI rather would have to get involved.
Listen, that's what I said. Snitches get stitches, and
Exactly.
and they already got their house raided, so
Exactly.
you never know what
There
might
you go.
happen.
Yeah.
There
And
you
I
go.
wonder how Jazz is going to handle this questioning because I don't know. I mean, obviously, he doesn't know what Phil
Hmm.
is doing. And so I think that he does have plausible deniability that is working in his favor in this situation.
Right.
But how does what he says affect what's going to happen next with Phil and Jeffrey? That's
Well,
what
let's
I'm waiting to see what his response is.
well, if the police or rather the FBI, whomever they were, if they ask questions like, okay, we're looking, we've noticed that you've had these inflated numbers over the past couple of weeks, whereas for the past 3 years, you've been barely surviving.
Been in the red, right?
You've been right. And so where did you get this money? Now, plausible deniability, Jazz he's very streetwise. So the question is, would he give up Phil? Because I would have to
Investor.
say, I would say, yeah, my investor. And then, okay, so who's your investor? And you can't just say, well, I don't know. You got to say, well, my investor is so and so.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you're giving Phil up. You're giving Phil up
Well, I
because,
think it's going to be an issue anyway with Phil because if
well, it definitely is.
feds come to your door
But
and
they
everything,
already
and
know. They
yeah,
already know. They
exactly. So
already know.
so I'm just saying I would have issues with Phil. I would be at his doorstep like, why are the feds at
Yeah.
my door?
Yeah.
And by the way, they're coming to yours.
Hmm.
'Cause,
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
sorry. Yeah, he messed that all up. And the fact, so, and the feds aren't gonna let you keep any other residuals from it.
That's
So
what Viv is worried about. And Jeffrey's
yeah,
trying to tell her, like, oh, well, if it's in the kid's name, then they can't seize it. But are they going to have enough time to act in order to, I guess, transfer some assets into some kids' names? I don't know. It's just a hot mess. I'm upset that they even are in this
In
predicament
that
at
position.
all.
Yeah.
and and if you put a trust, put everything to trust in the baby's name, um, yeah, But see, here's the problem. Well, how would that work? So the question would be, I first of all, I don't trust the government. They can do whatever they want to do. If they want that money, the law is, we abide by their law, by their laws. And if they want to do something that is, you know, well, we know what the feds can do.
We saw what happened to Snowfall.
I'm
We
gonna
saw what
say,
happened to Franklin's
yeah,
money.
exactly,
Franklin's money was gone.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. We know what the feds can do. So that may not be as ironclad as Jeffrey has led to, but the point is, the family is in jeopardy, and Viv, she may not have that safety net.
Mm-hmm. Now, referring back to that conversation with the safety net, because Erica, like I said, she was bringing up how Viv, just questioning her on her when she's going on maternity leave and how her job is going to deal with that. I thought that is it's a sad reality, because while you are on maternity leave, you're taking care of your newborn, you're trying to recover yourself. You should not have to worry about whether you have a job when you get back.
No, you shouldn't.
And especially with as talented and as Black excellence, that's all Viv exudes. And it's like, to be at the top of your game and to still have those concerns, it's sick. I'm like, what's going on in America?
I agree with you. I, Viv is a strong woman because I know a certain woman. If I came in with a plan like that, well, all I can say is it's been fun.
Well, I think that's kind of what's also driving Viv to kind of whip the boys into shape, because she
Mhm.
basically wants to equip them for the real world. And she's telling Phil, like, let's start teaching them how to do some stuff. They don't know how to do their own laundry or, do stuff for themselves, cook and whatnot. So that's part of what's going on this episode, is they are putting some more responsibility on the boys and getting them together so that they can understand how to operate in the real world. And Phil gives them this little side project to help rebuild his old school, his car,
his Mustang.
Yeah, and the boys, completely kind of like just take it for a joke. They fooling around, end up breaking off the mirror, and Phil goes off. Which we understand later on why he got so emotional, but because that car is kind of tied to him and his own father, and he was supposed to help his dad rebuild it, but he also had the same attitude as Carlton and Will and kind of brushed it off. And his father ended up passing. So I understand the sentimental reasons behind that. And the boys later on did make up for it, even tried to add on oil change on top of fixing the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was one of the cuter, more warm moments in this episode. It's just unfortunate that as they are out, cruising in that old school, got the top down, just catching some air. Viv is at home struggling, like going through it. She's so stressed out. They got her having all kind of birth complications and stuff. I'm sorry, not birth, pregnancy complications. I don't think she's going to give birth just yet. But I'm just like, they stressing Viv out.
Yeah, they are. And the Jeffrey thing is in Phil thing is already stressful enough. And then, like you said, the concerns you raised about, the maternity time and all the things coming with, being a mother again, also at her age.
Mm-hmm.
At her
But
age, yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys when we talked about Jeffrey and them being foul, we ain't touched on the fact that that Miss Pam is tipping and slipping with Jazz.
I
Like
was
I
coming
was
back
like,
to Miss Pam. She ain't off the hook.
oh, okay. I was just
Well,
like, dude, like, is this foul? Is this fair game? Is it
Very.
she in her cougar era and
She's
stuff?
married, okay?
Yeah.
well, you heard what Viv
and
said.
ain't tell Jazz that she was married.
And you heard what Viv said. She says, I'm in no position. I can't.
The
I'm
judge,
not. I'm
yeah.
not judging. Yeah, that's foul, of course. And the fact that again, she's. I feel sorry for Jazz. It seems like he can't win for losing. I mean, every which way he turns, somebody's putting him in a position. And
Yeah,
But
putting him in a position, treating him like a boy toy. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
he was trying to take her out on a date, at least wine and dine a little bit. She was like, "No, we
we
just
don't
gonna
do
do some
that. No,
hookups."
yeah,
want him to
we
be a sneaky link.
yeah.
Sneaky link, and she's married, so she can't be going out on no date. And Jazz is still nursing feelings, for
Hillary.
Right.
Hillary and stuff. So I was like, so she taking advantage of this vulnerable young man.
Well, okay, but we saw that Jazz didn't have a problem whipping
Of
into
course
shape.
not.
Okay, so
He a man. Like
I
I don't know too many men who gonna be.
I
I
thought
yeah,
it
know
was
y'all. Some of y'all
hilarious.
rock. Some of
no,
y'all
I
rocks.
take the fifth. I'm not
Yeah,
even
that's what I
going
said.
to
Some of
try.
y'all are rocks and
Yeah.
stuff, but some of y'all are not.
Mm, I
Well,
thought
I
it was
mean,
hilarious when Will figured it out, and
oh,
Carlton still sitting there dumbfounded. He got to explain
Yeah,
it to him.
Carlton
yeah,
don't know the street. He don't
yeah.
know
He
the
don't
street.
know, and Will was like, he peeped game
Yeah, he
immediately.
already. Yeah, he saw their
Hmm.
eyes lock, and then that's when he knew what something was.
He was like, oh, okay.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
but
look, wow.
Pam is trifling. That's what it is. She's
Well,
trifling.
yeah, I mean, yeah, well, hey,
Not only the fact that you're married, not only the fact that Jazz is a family friend of your best friend, but also the fact that you're in business with him. Like you supposed to be
All of those
advising
things,
him.
all of those things.
She's abusing her authority as an advisor.
Yeah,
You advising him on the wrong stuff, girl.
yeah.
but they had fun
Oh yeah,
advising one
they
another.
have fun, and Jazz is grown,
And
and
Jazz is
she's
grown.
grown.
She
But
grown.
again, all the things you said, she's married. He's a family friend. She in business with him. All those things are wrong.
I didn't
Yeah.
see it coming though. I mean, I was a little surprised when when she gave him that kiss. I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming. I didn't think she was that tight, but
But
Yeah,
Bianca's, I'm sorry, I said Bianca. What's her name on the show? Pam.
bam.
Pam said she back outside.
that's what she said.
Yeah.
Yep, she got her weed. She got
Uh-huh.
that stuff. She outside. They going on
Yeah.
their girls trips and stuff. So she like you know
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens with her and Mr. Tyrone, her husband, because I'm pretty sure that's gonna come back up and it's gonna be messy.
Then he
yeah.
comes after Jazz, and
You
there it
better
is.
step to Pam first, because I was like,
Mhm.
because Jazz
Yeah,
ain't know.
yeah.
Right, right. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about Will and his showcase that he had, the unsigned senior showcase, and he ended up doing really well. Unfortunately, USC's roster was full, but Stapleton's coach came up and expressed interest in him. and then giving him a full ride to play basketball there. So Will goes and does the college visit and whatnot. And it seems as though, Carlton is also meeting up with a mentor that also attended Princeton. So he's kind of giving him some insight on what things will be like. And they're kind of both off on these separate visits.
Mm-hmm.
But they're having a common problem. It's like, it seems like what's going on at Stapleton and what's going on with the mentor that Carlton is speaking to, they're both feeling like this is going to be a lot of pressure. And I guess they were thinking that, how things were at Bel-Air Academy, with all the pressure and the wanting to get the good grades and balance in sports and whatnot. I think they were thinking that that was a means to an end, and that once they got to college, it would kind of let up. But they're quickly finding out that things are going to be even harder. Like the mentor was talking to him about how the expectations and the pressures, and then especially with being a minority on this majority white campus, how you are expected to go above and beyond and not, give them a reason to say you don't belong there. And I think
Yeah.
Carlton was feeling really pressured by that thought.
But I want to go back to Will because that sure brought memories to with me. But my son playing basketball, and
Mm-hmm.
he got a Penn State wanted him, and they come to his game, saw him, gave him that letter, and it was like he got it on a Monday. And my wife was saying, you need to go ahead and respond like the very next day. And he said something to the effect, "Oh, I think I got till Wednesday or something like that." Wednesday comes, he responds, and then, "Oh, I'm sorry, that
That
slot
slide is gone.
it's gone,
Right. Right.
it's gone." And I
Yeah.
mean, he was devastated because that was the school he wanted to go to.
Oh wow.
Devastated, and I
Wow.
I was devastated for him,
Yeah, I know,
because
right?
all that work and
Hmm.
but hey, that's water under the bridge. I just thought I'd share these
Well, no, I mean,
personal
it's true
moments.
though, because
Yeah.
that we seen even with Will, the devastation in his face when the coach told him there were no more slots at
USC.
USC. And so having that backup option, it seemed like, okay, this will lift my spirits a little bit. But when he got there and heard the players talking about like the curriculum, and they were saying, oh, yeah, you can't really have like a hard major because of the balance between games and practice and travel, all that stuff factors in. And Will was thinking like, oh, I can do business school or something like that. And the guy said, oh, well, there's some other people who have gone for easier curriculums. And I was like, Lord, if that ain't the truth, because
Oh,
I have seen so many student athletes that wanted to be in these very what's the word I'm thinking of?
You're rigorous.
rigorous, rigorous.
Rigorous,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
word you're looking for.
Rigorous curriculums, and they can't handle the pressure of doing both
But that's what the
sports
schools
and
say. The
yeah.
schools tell my son, the other, it was another school wanted him and he got in, and he was telling me they don't necessarily care about your grades.
And
He
that's what
said,
the coach was
Uh-huh.
saying. I was
right,
Right.
shocked that the coach came right out and told Will, like, we don't care about that. We care about winning, and me
winning.
keeping my
Exactly.
job.
That's exactly right.
I was like,
Yeah,
whoa, well, go ahead and put it out there then.
yeah. So you
It's
take a
true.
so you get a degree in basket weaving. So what's that going to do for you?
Right. But see, that's what Will's concern is, because he's thinking more about his own legacy.
Right.
And he's like, I want to be like, say basketball doesn't work out after college. Then what? What do I have to land
Because
on?
he ain't necessarily trying to go to the NBA, so
Right.
so he wants to have a plan B.
And
Yeah.
even if you did make the NBA, I mean, you can get injured a
That's
year in, or
mm-hmm.
Exactly.
6 months in. There's no guarantee.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that Will was completely logical in thinking that way. Like, I need to think about life outside of sports too.
Hmm.
And so the hesitation that we seen with him and Carlton, they were both getting ready to submit their acceptances, but they stalled a little bit and hesitated. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that feeling of the unknown and all of the pressure on you to make that decision. So I do wonder where things are going to turn out for them, because they don't have any alternatives. Carlton doesn't have a backup plan for Princeton, and Will doesn't have another team trying to recruit him at the moment. So that's the stress of only having one option.
I wonder if they were thinking more or less to work their business, make that grow. Um, because as far as Carlton is concerned, I don't know what you were expecting from Princeton. You
Yeah,
know,
I don't know either.
so that got me. And as far
I
as
think
Will
he
is
just
concerned,
likes the sound of like
yeah,
I went to Princeton.
yeah, it's right. It's more prestige, and he wants to wear that badge. We know where Carlton's from. As far as Will though, I wouldn't, I don't I wouldn't count out Will in terms of getting a scholarship. I mean, so there'd be, we saw how many scouts there were, and maybe go to another game. Someone else comes up to him, those kinds of things. So he did right. I mean, I would assume he's going to turn him down.
Well, to me, no matter if he's planning on being a student athlete, it don't matter where he go. He gonna
Well,
have the
that is
same
true.
issue of
Yeah,
balancing school
yeah,
and games and stuff.
because
So
they want you in the gym at 6 a.m. and then you're on the court at 7.
it's not for the weak.
It ain't for the weak.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It ain't for the weak. You gotta, whatever you're made of, you will know after a semester
Mm-hmm.
trying to play ball
Mm-hmm.
and be in school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So I did really enjoy these episodes. We didn't get much of Hillary or Ashley, so
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see them next couple of
Hillary
episodes.
was on the FaceTime when they were having the
The gender reveal, yeah.
well, and she was on the FaceTime when he was waiting for his acceptance to Princeton.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
yeah,
had her on the screen.
But
yeah.
before we go, what do you think about Jeffrey? Do you think he's going to take his sister up on that offer?
He said he wanted to hear what she had to say, so I'm thinking he's considering it. And I think his choice to hear her out
It
was
was because
based
of Viv.
on how Viv treated him because he was. I think Dom was saying, the things between you and the Banks is not going to be the same again. And so
Right.
when he went and talked to Viv and she expressed how she felt, I think he seemed like, oh yeah, she's right. Things ain't gonna be the same. So he was like,
Yeah.
let me go over here and hear her out because she's
Right.
actually pursuing, a bond with me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Validation, and that's what you saw in Jeffrey's face. And too bad it came at this juncture because
Right.
Jeffrey can split and leave all this mess behind for Phil to clean up.
Yeah, I don't see him doing that though. I think
No,
Jeffrey,
he's loyal to
he's
them.
loyal. He's super loyal to that family, and I think that he's going to be able to sniff Dom out real soon if she has something fishy going on. Because I
Mhm.
don't believe that she's trying to be legit.
No, I
Yeah,
don't believe it
I
either.
don't either. Yeah.
Okay, well, that brings us to the who can get the hands list. So between episodes 4 and 5, have at it. Um,
Carlton for letting Amira take the fall for that
yes,
lie.
Hmm.
absolutely. Carlton definitely get the hands for that. I
Phil.
think I also
Yeah,
want to give
Phil.
I
Hmm.
want to give Carlton the hands too for trying to name the baby Thurgood.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I know, listen, ain't nothing wrong with Thurgood Marshall and stuff, and I think
Right,
that's why
but
he was trying to do that. But
I'm
don't
hoping
don't
that,
don't
but
don't
don't
No.
do it. Right,
don't do it.
You gonna set that baby up to get made fun of.
Yeah.
right, right.
Now y'all said Uncle Phil. I feel
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that
Because the
100%.
jazz
Phil's tripping.
situation.
Yeah, he's tripping.
Pam.
Pam.
Pam,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
Pam too. I think she deserves a seat on the hands list. Yep.
yeah, Pam was tripping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see who else.
Well,
Does
we got
Jeffrey get
Jeffrey.
the
Oh
hands?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey too. Yep.
Okay,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Jeffrey, Dom.
Dom gets the
Yep.
hands.
Yep.
Um. Hmm.
I don't know if I have anybody else.
Well, maybe I won't give him the hands because he did apologize. But I was going to say Will for
Will.
leaving Carlton out there like that and
He
stuff
redeemed
and stuff. But
himself.
he did redeem himself with the dance and apologize. So I'm not gonna put him on the list this week.
Oh,
Okay.
you'll be suspect on my list. You did a
Yeah,
lot. You did a lot to get to the point, get to where you ended up. You know what I
he
mean?
Hmm.
did. He did.
Yeah. Now, do we have someone for the game ball? Who we thinking for the game ball? I was thinking Viv for bringing Erica. I'm sorry for reconciling with Erica and also bringing Lisa and Jackie back together.
I was thinking that too, and I was kind of thinking, Lisa. I mean, I know it might be controversial because I heard what you said too about, that was really dicey of of Lisa to tell Jackie to call her mom, but I thought I felt her on what she said, basically, especially, me and Ron, we've lost mothers. And
Yes.
so, and I felt her when she said, like, I would give anything to be able to call my mom. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, their relationship is dicey and all that and stuff, but she still has a mom that she can pick up the phone and call. So I felt where Lisa was coming from. And that's why I kind of feel like I want to give her the game ball for that, for putting her differences aside with Jackie, and also encouraging her to tell her mother this news.
And you
Okay.
got to
I'm
give it to
not.
Lisa as well, too, because,
That's what I said, Lisa. That's what Lisa
oh, I
Lisa
thought you
came
said,
about.
okay. Yeah, Lisa and Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
mad at either one of those.
Yeah.
Um, and I was also thinking about Mr. Carter. He them boys need some
Yeah,
act.
no, I straight up. In fact, we should have hit him up earlier.
Yeah, the
I
game
think
ball.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, he's doing a very positive thing,
Yeah.
and he's very strict minded about it. So
Hmm.
definitely.
Hmm.
Okay, well, these were good 2 episodes. I really enjoyed them. We only got a few left before the end of the season, and it seems like time is kind of like jump skipping every couple of episodes.
Yeah.
So we might see little baby be born before
We,
before the
we probably
Right.
next
are.
episode.
This is the last season, and I saw for the previews for the next episode, it's like only 3 episodes left. There's only
Hmm.
Yeah.
8 episodes this season. So
Mhm.
Yeah, so if they drop them all at the same time like they've been doing, we might only have one more recap after this.
Well, yeah, it's looking that way.
but
But
don't worry, we'll have some other surprises for y'all though.
Hmm.
Yeah, I am enjoying this season though. For them to kind of close it out, I just wonder where they're going to leave us, because right now things look very negative for the Banks family. I don't know how they're going to get out this situation with the feds kind of questioning Jazz and whatnot. It's not looking good. So
Mm-mm.
how they tie this up in 3 episodes, I don't
Uh,
know, but I'm gonna
yeah.
be interested to see.
Well, that simple life that Phil and Viv spoke about, maybe
Right.
maybe on the horizon. You
What
never
I
Well,
know.
say? Yep.
life is
Yeah.
real simple in jail, huh?
Well, I mean,
Or
even if
when
he
you're
does,
going back to humble beginnings.
yeah, that's what I mean. Just more or less, just
That too.
yeah. So we'll see.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you all drop down in the comment section and let us know your thoughts on these 2 episodes, as well as any predictions that you have for the remainder of the season. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click that notification bell. Also, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk, and invite your friends and family as well. We have a lot of great conversation over here. We're talking Bel-Air. We are also recapping Force if you watch that show. And we just got a ton of great interviews coming your way. You never know who we might have on, so that notification bell is going to be important. So go ahead and click that now. Tiff, Ron, y'all got anything else?
That's it.
All right. Well, on that note, we are going to call it a night. Thanks so much for watching, and please make sure you are back for our next recap of Bel-Air. Good night.
Good night.
Hey.